Good morning, welcome to Morning View. So Kim speaking on Tuesday, the 18th of April. Okay, so yesterday's bank holiday ran as normal, and yet we saw quite a bit of volatility yesterday relative to Friday. Wasn't a trading day for me, but looking at where we are now, as I say, had a good move relative. Now it's just a case of what next this euro. At the moment is got number of different trend lines here. I've got the over the bottom of the daily, effectively the 4-hourly chart here. You can see a trend line that's sort of running across the lows here. There's a sort of a resistance point above, which is quite conservative, and then as you come down to the alley, I've got a much more aggressive sort of view on where this market's potentially going. Now, I just need to come back a moment. Yep, the monthly pivot has been hit. Weekly pivot's been hit yesterday, so that's that box ticked. At the moment, it's sort of a wedge sort of pattern in what, well, if we get a break to the upside, could be a run up back towards yesterday's highs, maybe Thursday's highs there into the R1. Maybe even back onto the pivot at some point. So certainly got the potential to the upside. A break to the lower side here. We've got plenty of support. It's sort of support almost immediately. And then you've got on into the 34, then the 50, 100 sort of sitting together there. Certainly looking as potential support levels, as it may ride its way back towards yesterday's lows there at some point. But at the moment, it's, as I say, it's erring to me more bullish than bearish marginally on that pairing. So just need to see it show its hand from this sort of wedge pattern. For cable, let's have a look at cable. Cable, a bit more obvious, I might say more positive into the upside there. There is the potential for the previous highs there. That I'm looking at that daily 200 as a possible magnetic target in terms of when the price starts to work towards it. It often becomes a target. A bit clear on the 4-hourly here, straightforward. Over the last week, it was pretty much a positive week for most of the week, and ended up pushing up a little bit. And as I said, as we started this week, it's pretty positive. If it is at some point to start selling off, I'd watch probably a break at 34 maybe, but we have got a weekly pivot below, so it would be probably a bit more too much of a target for today, but over the next couple of days there is that possibility. Bit in no man's land at the moment. In this shorter time frame, it's brought itself back into its sort of morning range. It had a little shot up this morning, just about an hour ago, or in this current hour actually, and it's sitting sort of back into this range. It's the case of just seeing which way it sort of points its gives me the signal. But I'd prefer to be on the upper side of this with what it's been doing with a higher highs, higher lows sort of situation. And particularly with that daily 200, but I'll sit and wait, and if it does, well, may give a shorter move to the downside there, maybe coming back towards the 50 before it sort of bounces. But there, as I say, it's not quite 50-50, it's slightly more biased towards the upside at the moment for me. Dollar yen. Dollar yen on the daily perspective here. Well, yesterday I put the hammer back into that 200. Got a weekly pivot above us. It could be just looking to chase after that weekly pivot, maybe the 50. It was sort of with the risk off. We've been seeing a sort of money running back in towards the yen. Well, it seems that the market's eased up a little bit at the moment, so there is that potential push towards that weekly pivot, maybe further. Just looking on the 60 minutes there. Daily pivot below us, so any sort of change of direction here, it would become a target, but at the moment it's looking maybe, as I say, towards that weekly pivot. Aussie dollar, let's just look at the Aussie dollar here. Well, strong sell-off this morning already. I was looking for data on the Aussie dollar. There was nothing significant. The monetary policy meeting minutes came through, beg your pardon, earlier on this morning. Maybe that's caused a bit of a softening there, but just coming back towards the 34 sort of zone on this 4-hourly, maybe get off some support there. Weekly pivot's been hit. If it starts breaking below there, well, the near-term target there is that 60-minute 200 into the S3, which may just give it more significant support at that point. It often ends up in a bit of chop through the London session, so I'll be probably stepping aside and leaving it. Canadian dollar, well, oil's slipped back a bit, but it's still around about $53 a barrel. You can see the dailies here, it's starting to get choppy again. Yesterday, well, put in a reversal, started pushing back up a little bit, and this is sort of maybe risk back on again, coming, switching back on. So as it does, we'll see equities rally and maybe see the currencies switch place again. So with oil easing off, it's been pushing up a little bit here for 4-hourly. If it can build any sort of momentum here, break those prior highs there, it's put a higher low in, and we could see some further upside there. Just looking at the short time frame, just bounced off the 60.21. It needs to start breaking through that. Possibly, if it starts doing that for the downside, well, then the daily pivot becomes a target. But the hourly 200 at the moment certainly looks like a reasonable target from where it is. We can just break this short-term downward trend that's sitting there, just that little top of the flag there. So it's a bullish flag. You see the bullish flagpole. So if it breaks out, that 200 would be an obvious sort of target. That's pretty much it for today. News-wise, we haven't got a lot of news out. We had the Australian monetary policy meeting minutes out at 2:30, and next news 1:30 Canadian dollar. Nothing really of significance there. In fact, there's little. 2:15 we may see a bit of volatility, but we don't seem to see a lot of the capacity utilization or industrial production. Doesn't seem to be a big mover, so not a great deal for us today in terms of news. So we'll be looking at technicals, and any political news may be the kicker. That's it for me. Have a great one. Bye for now.